Hey guys, CJ. So, the major has been going on. Some absolutely fantastic narratives are popping off. And so, to start things off, let's talk about the big boom himself, Lord Boomage, the former IGL of Na'Vi, a Grand Slam major winning, Kato and Cologne winning IGL, who, after his removal from Na'Vi due to various circumstances, be it his rather now infamous proposal to his now ex-wife after winning said major and the various controversies that came out surrounding that afterwards, as well as the war. It was a difficult time for his career. Many people had written him off. He hadn't seemingly done much of anything in the 2 years it had been since he had been cut from Na'Vi. Now he is an absolutely illustrious company. This team, BetBoom, which formerly Nafny was the IGL of, he took over, and now he has taken them, one of the only IGLs in history outside of Kerrigan that comes to mind, to take a team from the opening stage of the major all the way to playoffs, and they did not do so by stepping over small teams the entire way. They hard fought, dominated, and had a fantastic path the entire way. All with Boomich himself being the second highest rated player on the team at a 1.08 for the IGL. Big Boom has, he's lost a lot of weight. He looks good. He's giving a lot of great interviews. It's just a fantastic resurgence for one of our legendary IGLs of the modern era, who many people wrote off due to the fact that he was under Blade. He was in a part of a system with electronic, simple, bit, perfecto. Eventually, SDY came in a little bit. And we all thought that, he got replaced by SDY, whatever. But Boomage was written off because he was standing on the shoulders of his teammates, of his coach, of one of the all-time great players and his right-hand man, all-time great rifler in electronic. And now to see him do it with no one from that time period, and mind you, he's the only player from that lineup that is in this major playoff. That's a pretty huge achievement in and of itself. But the real obvious thing that you need to talk about when you talk about Boomich and this run that BetBoom are having is Manjoez, or I always struggle with his name, Manjoez. He has been absolutely lights out and stellar, dropping a 1.1 rating for the entire event so far. But just to give you guys an idea, let's talk about this. Stage 1, Gaming Gladiators, worst team at the entire event, bar none. 13-4. Liquid, pathetic. 13-9, trashed them. Gamer Legion, coming off of a actual tournament win in Dallas, 2-0. Go into stage 2, they get 5-13 by Team Spirit. Whatever. Donk is on one of the most disgusting runs of form we've ever seen in history for any player ever. 13-9 over Gamer Legion again. 13-2 M80. 2-1 Monty, who would go on to also qualify to Stage 3 and have shown some absolute scrappiness, most notably from their IGL, giving even sort of a further tip of the hat to Boomage in his ability to call around another highly competent IGL. Now, this is where it gets real. Stage 3, 2-1 Mongols, 2-0 Falcons. They lose to Furia, they lose to Vitality, there's no problem there. Those are two very respectable teams. 2-0 Foot in order to make it into the playoffs. 2-0ing Falcons is, with the form that Kerrigan is on, he's in a race to the bottom for one of the worst rated events or worst rated major playing appearances in history. Follow B-Trams on Twitter to make sure, at Smart Backwards on Twitter, all-time great stats guy, and he's doing this sort of race to the bottom for Kerrigan. He's keeping it updated after every game. You should go check out his stuff. But 2-0ing Foot, who were this team, this darling of the Tier 1 Counterstrike that we have all loved this entire season, myself included, who this was their major. This was their chance to break through into that playoffs and really make that next step, and they just washed them. It's crazy. And to see them step forward into this playoffs, it's an interesting opportunity, how shall we say, because the bracket for this, due to these all sorts of shakeups, is not exactly what we may think. BetBoom actually has a chance. The best, so 9Z and Furia, domestic matchup. Cool. Whoever wins that, probably Furia, goes on to play the winner of Aurora and BetBoom. Aurora have actually been on much more respectable form than they have been, and I think it is a testament to them this season, as in years past, I've been one of their vocal critics about the fact that they tend to fall off the deeper into a season you get. They're really strong at the beginning, and then they really taper off hard, some ways barely even performing well at the major. They've made playoffs, and they've looked pretty dang good. I think Wacadia deserves a shot on another team. I think he's a fantastic player who could go somewhere and hopefully doesn't have to suffer the Zontaris fate of being stuck in a domestic, and that's his choice, Zontaris' choice, but same problem of being in a domestic lineup for the peak years of his career. I think Wacadia could go somewhere else and absolutely stand out as a star. But it is not an impossible thing to say with the form that they have been on that BetBoom could make that semifinals. And if the rest of the team starts to show up, because I will again remind you, the IGL and their star rifle are out fragging everyone by a bit of a country mile. If you want to be real specific about it, they're the only players above 1.0. Duladez is exactly 1.0. Flamus, despite the darling that we love him for, is 0.98. And Zorte, their opper, really needs to wake the fuck up because he's the lowest rated player on the team, 0.97 rating, and he needs to get in gear because if Zorte can wake up and everyone else can just give that little extra percent, now they know they're in major playoffs, know that what this could do for each of their careers. And this is a once-in-a-lifetime chance for many of them. They can give that little extra percent. It is not an impossibility to say that they could somehow go all the way to the finals. Now, are they going to win it? Absolutely fucking not. Not in a million years. The lower half of the bracket is going to win this major. And it is going to be either, basically, it will be decided by the semifinal of the lower half of the bracket. Spirit should absolutely dumpster G2, in my opinion. Falcons versus Vitality is a quarterfinal that is basically the grand final of the major. Whoever wins between Spirit and the winner of Falcons Vitality, most likely Vitality, but if Falcons do that, holy shit, they will go on to probably dumpster whoever's on the other side if it's not Furia. Furia will likely put up a much better shot, which, with Fallen's retirement on the horizon, that'd be one hell of a narrative. But that's enough about the brackets. That's enough about this, that, and the other thing. Boomich has been on an absolute tear at this major, and it is a thing that we all need to appreciate and remind ourselves that he was more than just the blade system. He was more than just the guy running Mac 10s for simple. He was a highly respected IGL and still is to this day, who has managed to reinvent himself and maintain relevancy on the World Counterstrike stage, and now stands in illustrious company with Kerrigan as one of the only IGLs to ever lead a team from stage 1 all the way to playoffs. How high is BetBoom's ceiling? I don't know, but I definitely think that Boomich and Manjoez are going to, hopefully, if they don't stick around, they'll get another contract at a higher level because they have damn well earned it with this performance. If Kicksan can go to Falcons after making top 8 with Apex, why can't Boomich, a guy who's already won a major, a Grand Slam, a Katowice, and a Cologne, get another shot at a top-tier team? That's what I think personally. Let me know what you think down below. I have been CJ. Have a great rest of your major, everybody. I'll keep putting out some stuff. Deuces.